From snakes, cats and rats to cows, lions and tigers, here are 16 worshipped animals from around the world. Number 16. Goats. In areas of Central Asia, excavations dating to the Bronze Ages have recovered evidence of goats being buried in a ritualistic fashion that have a religious significance. In Northern Europe, deities like the Leshy have been portrayed with the horns and legs of a goat. In the Nepalese town of Kokana, goats are allowed to wander freely and graze upon whatever fields they please. The animals are considered to be possessions of the Hindu warrior goddess Durga. Anyone who harms the goats on purpose or by accident might be cursed by her, and some sources claim an offender might be subject to death for mistreating the goats. Number 15. Pigs. In some cultures, these porcine beasts are considered worthy of worship. Ancient Egyptians considered them to be sacred, but were rarely used as sacrifices. That wasn't the case with the ancient Greeks, who did sacrifice pigs to their goddess Demeter. The Celts revered a pig god named Moccus, who was the protector of boar hunters and warriors. The meat of boars was considered sacred and was served at various rituals and ceremonies. Did you know that Moccus is still worshipped in modern times by Wiccans and Druids? Number 14. Birds. Among the Tlingit people of Alaska, the raven is worshipped as a deity. It appears as a major figure in their myths and is thought to have brought the gift of fire to mankind. Crows and ravens also appear as sacred animals in the mythologies of Australia and in European, Celtic and Germanic religions. In northern Borneo, hawks have been viewed as messengers of the gods. Native would involve the birds when making decisions concerning agricultural work and warfare. Other hawk deities have been worshipped on the island of Hawaii and in the Fiji Islands. The falcon appeared in ancient Egypt and was linked to the god Horus, who was represented as a human body with a falcon head. Number 13. Horse worship. Veneration of these equines for their strength, speed and intelligence commonly occurs among many Turkic and Indo-European peoples. Horses and mules were considered sacred to the ancient Roman god Consus, who was the guardian of grains. A horse goddess known as Epona was worshipped in parts of Western Europe, including present-day France. In the UK, there's a prehistoric hill figure called the Uffington White Horse that could date to the late Bronze Age. Horse-headed deities also appear in Buddhism and Hinduism and have been worshipped since 2000 BC. Number 12. Monkeys. Hanuman is a recognized monkey deity from Hinduism. Because he's regarded as a reincarnation of Shiva, the god of destruction, monkeys are often protected creatures in many villages. In Bali, there's an Ubud monkey forest that contains hundreds of crab-eating macaques. They're allowed to inhabit Hindu temples that date to the 14th century. But even though they're regarded as sacred animals, the monkeys are still capable of biting visitors if they arrive without a food offering. Number 11. Rats. The Kani Mata temple in India is the go-to place for worshipping rats. Around 25,000 of the rodents live at this temple, where they are regarded as sacred creatures. The presence is connected to the legend of Kani Mata, a 15th century female sage who worshipped a warrior goddess. When her son died, she implored Yama, the god of death, to revive him. Yama eventually agreed, with the stipulation that all of Kani Mata's male descendants be reincarnated as rats. The rodents at this temple are cared for by devotees and are thought to bring good luck, while the rats in particular are thought to be especially holy, and to see them is a blessing. If you are fortunate enough to eat the food that rats have nibbled on, you might be blessed yourself. Number 10. Leopards. The Ashanti people of present-day Ghana in West Africa have a cult that worships these big cats. Anyone guilty of killing a leopard can be put to death. It's said that leopard hunters who have killed the animals are forced to be carried and follow the animal's body around town. The hunter may not speak and must smear himself to look like the animal while imitating its movements. In matters of worship, the cat's skins are not allowed to be exposed, but a stuffed leopard can be used for practice. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the oldest known cat-headed deity dates to 2920 BC and was depicted with the head of a leopard? Number 9. Crocodiles. If you're familiar with the image of an ancient Egyptian deity with a human body and a crocodile head, then you recognize Sobek, which was also known as Petsuchus. He was closely linked to the Nile crocodile, and in some images he's depicted simply as a croc. Sobek was connected with military might and the pharaoh's power, among other qualities. An entire region of Middle Egypt was dedicated to this deity, which served as the center of his cult. A living representation of Sobek was known as Petsuchus and was worshipped as a holy crocodile. Priests would feed it milk, honey and meat. When the croc died, it would be mummified and replaced with a new Petsuchus. Number 8. Dogs. Among Hindus in Nepal and some other parts of India, our canine friends are considered to possess a major religious significance. Every year there's a 5-day festival during which dogs are worshipped. The reverence stems from the dogs being the messengers of Yama, the god of death. Since they guard the doors of heaven, they can determine who enters paradise after death, so it's a way of honouring the animals while they're on the earthy plane. On the 14th day of the lunar cycle in November, dogs receive a special day of worship during which the animals are garlanded with marigold flowers and applied tikka, the holy vermilion dot. Number 7. Tigers. In cultures of Eastern Asia, it's not the lion that's regarded as the king of beasts, it's the tiger, which represents courage and majesty. In China's Yunnan province, there's a tiger worshipping ceremony that features a glowing tiger statue that stands 5 meters high, or 16 feet. In Korean culture, tigers are viewed both as sacred creatures that bring good luck, as well as guardians that protect against evil spirits. In Vietnam, the animals are worshipped for their ferocity and their great strength. In many villages, it's not unusual to see tiger statues at the entrance of the temples to ward off evil spirits. Some sources claim that tigers' veneration might originate from the fear of the beasts raiding human villages in ancient times. Number 6. Jackals. One of the most familiar images from ancient Egypt has to be that of Anubis, the jackal-headed god. He first appeared around 3100 BC and was worshipped as a protector of cemeteries. Anubis was also worshipped as an embalmer and as a god that ushered souls into the afterlife. Experts say that the jackal's connection to death stemmed from their presence in graveyards, as well as how the animals scavenged food from villages and towns near the desert. Did you know that a real-life template for Anubis was African golden wolf? An ancient Egyptian city called Lycropolis means City of the Wolf. Number 5. Elephants. In its modern meaning, the phrase white elephant usually refers to a troublesome possession that is difficult to maintain or get rid of. That definition stems from an ancient belief about the elephants in Asian countries including Thailand. A white or albino elephant was believed to contain a dead person's soul, possibly that of a Buddha. The king had to buy it and then keep it at a great expense since people wanted to worship it. The veneration of such animals dates back to at least the 17th century. In certain areas of Indochina, the elephant is revered due to a belief that the animal's soul might inflict harm after it dies. A cult of the white elephant can be found in southern Ethiopia, and one of the most well-known and worshipped deities in Hinduism is the elephant-headed Ganesha, which is widely acknowledged as the remover of obstacles. Number 4. Domestic cats. Ancient Egyptians were especially fond of domestic cats, or house cats. These animals are regarded as the living incarnation of the god Bastet, who protected households against rodents and birds. When the small cats died, they were accordingly mummified and used as offerings to the gods during festivals. Huge numbers of cat mummies have been excavated in Egypt, with some of them dating back some 6,000 years. While the veneration of domestic cats may have declined, they still like to be worshipped. Any cat owner will tell you that. Number 3. Cattle. Religions from ancient Greece and Egypt are among those that consider these bovines sacred animals, but it's probably their connection to Hinduism that is best known. The bovines are held in high esteem and worshipped thanks to the animals' gentle nature and for their many agricultural uses. Cows are venerated as a kind of maternal protector that provides dairy products and services that include tilling the land. In ancient Egypt, Apis was a sacred bull that was worshipped in the region of Memphis. The bull god was represented by a physical animal which would be replaced upon its death. At the time, the bull was mummified, often standing up, and then buried in an elaborate ceremony. In modern-day Egypt, there's an entire district of the city of Alexandria that is dedicated to Apis. Number 2. Lions. While this big cat's status of king of the beasts is sometimes disputed, you can't deny that they're impactful figures of worship. For tens of thousands of years, they've served as symbols of skill, strategy, and tremendous power. Early historical records from Egypt indicate a lioness that protected the country's people and rulers. In Hinduism, Nrsimha is revered as a sacred lion god. Not unlike tigers, statues of lions can be found that guard the entrances to temples in Southeast Asia. Even though the animals are not native to China, guardian lions show up in the country's agriculture, and the Chinese New Year lion dance is performed to scare off evil spirits and demons. 4th century Arabs revered the lion god Yaguth, and in ancient Egypt, Sekhmet was a goddess depicted as a lioness. She was said to be the fiercest hunter known to the Egyptians. Number 1. Serpents. Snake worship is found in many cultures of the Old World and in the Americas. The reptiles figure strongly in Hindu mythology. Carved depictions of cobras, or nagas, can be found throughout many parts of the subcontinent, with food and flowers offered at the shrines. A special festival of snakes called Nag Panchami calls for the worship of all snakes and their associated deities. In West Africa, there was a python cult that had a temple that still stands today. It's located in the city of Ouida, and it's said to contain dozens of living serpents. Worshippers of the past regarded the snakes as so sacred that the penalty for killing the python was death, whether it was by accident or not. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell for notifications for our next exciting episode right here on Epic Wildlife.